because of the last couple videos I've done about the draft, about Myles Garrett, things like that, I've had some interesting debates, even arguments with fans about what the true value of the 11th pick is and I guess how the 49ers should approach it. And what I've decided is most people have no clue how you're supposed to approach this draft or approach having such a valuable asset. What's up, everybody? Welcome in Seth Floyd Show. I'm Seth Floyd Hansen, your host, doing a quick video in my office today instead of at home. Just you know how it goes. If you're a family man, if you got kids, things are busy. Just felt like I could sneak this in today real quick and make my home life a little easier tonight. You guys are incredible, by the way. Last video when we started, I think I was at 270 subscribers. And when I flipped it on today, as I hit record on the camera today, I think we're at 282, maybe 283. Incredible. You guys, it helps so much when you hit subscribe. Help me get closer to my dream of being able to do this full time and just make content about the 49ers, about football in general. If you're here and you haven't subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. It does, if you've made content, you know that subscriber count is so important. It helps the algorithm and helps what you're able to do. So hit subscribe, like the video. You guys are incredible. The goal is to get to 500 subscribers by the time football season starts, so early September. And shoot, at the pace we're at, we've added like 50 subscribers in the last not 3 days, I wish. The last like 30 days, we'll hit it easy if you guys keep doing your thing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Guys, I am real passionate about what the 49ers should do with this 11th pick. Or not specifically what they should do, but the process of what this 11th pick should be. And here is what I wrote. I didn't take very many notes today. It's got to be a quick video, but I wrote in all caps. I said, with the 11th pick, you can do two things. One of these two things has to happen, okay? You either have to get a game changer. I'm not talking about just like an average starter. I'm not just talking about somebody who can come in and play for you right away and they do their job and fine. I'm talking about someone who affects and changes the game, or you have to trade out and get a haul for those, get a haul of picks for that pick. You need to acquire more picks. Now, this debate that I've had with fans, with other 49er fans, is this concept of just how valuable the 11th pick is. And it really started because I would willingly trade it away for Myles Garrett. And I would probably trade next year's draft pick for Myles Garrett too. I've to go watch my last video. I'm pretty open about that, okay? Why do I feel that way? Because the 11th pick in the draft is super valuable and you have to hit on it. You have to hit on it. Well, guess what? If I give up the 11th pick for Myles Garrett, I've hit on it. There is no question that I'm getting a game changer. There's no risk. You are getting a game changer. There's no risk on the Myles Garrett side. Now, the risk is if you give up, you're not going to get him just for the 11th pick. You're going to give up multiple picks. So the risk is, okay, what does it do to my team in the future? We're feeling a little bit of that because of the Trey Lance trade. But guess what, guys? You traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is awful and not even going to be in the league anymore. And guess what? What happened after you traded those picks? What happened? You went to 3 straight NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl. Okay? So I like the idea of trying to just get a game changer. Now, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit because you have to get a game changer with the 11th pick, and at the same time, you can't overvalue the pick. Okay, what I mean is don't be so scared to go make a trade for Myles Garrett because, oh my gosh, we have the 11th pick. We need somebody who's going to be a franchise guy for the next 10 to 15 years. Yeah, ideally that would be great, but what's more likely to happen? What is more likely to happen, guys? Are you going to trade? Are you going to draft a Myles Garrett, or are you more likely going to draft a Solomon Thomas or a Javon Kinlaw? Or a Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey was the 10th pick, okay? And he was a tackle. And guess what? He was fine. He played for us for 4 years. He got a big contract from the Broncos. But looking back, everyone feels like, man, with the Niners, that was not a great pick. Why? Because it was the 10th pick. If you'd picked McGlinchey at the 25th pick, then maybe you would feel a lot better. Maybe you'd be like, all right, well, pretty good. He was a starter. But with a pick this high, you've got to hit on it. You do. And so I along with the Myles Garrett side of things with the 11th pick, the debate I've gotten with fans is other fans who are adamant. They are adamant that 11th pick has to be spent on an offensive tackle. Now let's talk about this, okay? I understand that that's a hole. I don't think it's as big of a hole as other people do, but it's definitely a need that has to be addressed, okay? I'm still in the adage like, guys, this is the line that took us to the Super Bowl in 2023. Now, I'm not saying don't make changes. I think Jake Brendel has to go. I think you probably got to upgrade Colton McKivitz at some point. But both of those guys were starters when we went to the Super Bowl. So I know last year was super frustrating, but I'm trying to look at it through the lens of the 49ers, and I promise you that's the thing Kyle Shanahan keeps saying. Is like, guys, we went to the Super Bowl with these guys. Like, I can make it work. I can make, I don't want to say it, never mind. Anyway, he's saying I can make it work. At pick 11, like, your mindset should not be, what is our biggest need and we're just going to fill it. I think a lot of people like to say, like, oh yeah, you've got to go best player available, but then when they get down to it, all they want to do is pick a lineman. Guys, you have to at 11, you have to be finding who is a generational guy. Is there a generational guy at pick 11? Because we've seen this before. The last couple of times the 49ers picked at this spot, they made some underwhelming picks. Let's just, a couple of guys, like, so we took, in 2018, we took Mike McGlinchey with the 10th pick. I don't think anybody viewed Mike McGlinchey in that draft as like a generational left tackle in the league. He played right tackle for us. I imagine they drafted McGlinchey. We still had Joe Staley. I imagine they drafted McGlinchey and were like, okay, eventually he's going to slide over and be our left tackle of the future. But I don't think anybody viewed Mike McGlinchey as like a generational franchise left tackle. At least not consensus across the board. This wasn't Joe Alt. Joe Alt was viewed as like, man, this guy is freaking good. And he's going to be a left tackle in this league for a very long time. Penei Sewell, he's playing right tackle, but people were like, Penei Sewell is like a surefire, can't miss prospect who's going to be a foundation in your line for 10 years. That wasn't Mike McGlinchey, but the 49ers took him. They took him because it was a need. And you know who they missed out on? They missed out on a couple guys. Whatever. Like, I didn't go through. I just kind of scanned the first round, see a couple guys who went after him. Right after him went Vita Vea, defensive tackle for the Bucs, who I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's freaking good. And I would have much rather had Vita Vea than Mike McGlinchey. He'd still be on our team, and we wouldn't have had as many defensive line woes that we had last year. Okay, we probably didn't take him because we had DeForest Buckner and we had Eric Armstead. So we're like, well, it's not really a need. Well, guess what? A couple years down the road, and it was a need. A couple years down the road, and Vita Vea would have looked pretty nice on our team. Instead, we took Mike McGlinchey, didn't sign him to a next contract. Another guy, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Guys, we've been trying to find a solid safety tandem for a few years now. Okay. And Minkah Fitzpatrick would have been a nice little spot, nice guy to have on our team. I would have rather have had him than Mike McGlinchey. Okay, we also took Javon Kinlaw. I mean, shoot, we passed on Tristan. Well, we traded out. We could have had Tristan Wirfs. There's another of other guys. I didn't go through that draft as much. The point is, you just need to find a guy that is going to affect the game and be a guy, be like a franchise guy. That's your goal. That's your goal. It's a lot easier said than done, but that's your goal. How do you do that? Well, you stop focusing so much on what is our primary need at pick 11, and let's just, who are the best players in the draft? And is there a guy that we can take that is going to be a franchise generational guy? Even if he's not an immediate need right now, in 3 years, it might be a need, and you might be really happy you had him instead of just a run-of-the-mill offensive lineman, okay? This is why Matt Mayoko got hammered on, he had a mock draft the other day, and he took Tyler Warren, and he just kind of laid that out. He was like, look, Tyler Warren's really good. He's like, I don't necessarily think the Niners will take him, but he's really good, and he's going to be really good in this league for a long time. And everyone's like, well, we have George Kittle. Yeah, you've got George Kittle right now, but one, tight end is not a position where it's like only one can be on the field at the same time. Having two great tight ends would greatly affect the game and make you better immediately in 2025. But guess what? In 3 years, what will Kittle be? I don't know. He's a very violent player. His body's probably not going to hold up super long. I don't imagine Kittle is going to be the best tight end in the league for the next 5 years. Probably not. And you'd be really happy you had Tyler Warren at that point. Now, I don't think anyone views these offensive tackles in the league as like generational guys. I think they think they're good players, but none of them are like a Penei Sewell, a Joe Alt. And I think most 49er fans would rather the Niners just take one of those guys who's not a generational guy because it's a need. I think that before the season, people were like, oh, shoot, Calvin Banks. And I'm a Texas guy. I live in Texas. I root for the Longhorns. I think a lot of people before the season and even during the season were like, man, Calvin Banks is really, really good. He's really, really good. Could be a generational guy. And I think that as the season went on, and I think now that people are breaking down film and watching it more, I haven't grinded the tape. I'm not here to tell you Calvin Banks isn't a generational guy. That's not the point of this video. Okay? I'm here to just tell you what your thought process should be, in my opinion. And what I've heard, more and more people are watching Calvin Banks, and they're like, man, he's good, but he's not in that Joe Alt range. He's not in that Penei Sewell range. Not even sure if he's like a true left tackle. He'd probably be a really good guard for a really long time, but like he's probably not as good as we thought. And people are kind of saying the same thing as Will Campbell. I think people like Will Campbell more, if I'm being honest, from what I've heard. I know Brad Graham, the SF Niners, like he really likes Will Campbell. Okay, likes him because of his attitude, but I don't think anyone's showing on the film like he's jumping off the screen. Like you have to take him at 11. You can't pass him up. Ideally, you have a guy at 11 that you take that you feel like you cannot pass up. Now, there's no guarantee that there will even be a guy like that at 11. I think Tyler Warren is that guy at 11, and I go back and forth on this, and I'm just saying, I think you could take Tyler Warren at 11, and I think later in the draft you could address needs and you could improve the offensive line. I mean, holy crap, 49er fans, you act like Colton McKivitz is the worst right tackle in the league. He's not, but you act like he is. Well, great. If he's the worst right tackle in the league, guess what? I could take a Gray Zabel or some Josh Connerly in the second round and be an immediate upgrade over McKivitz if he's the worst right tackle in the league. Okay. But he was the starting right tackle when you got to the Super Bowl. My point is at 11, I need a game changer. And I'm telling you, Tyler Warren's a game changer. I'm not saying they have to draft him. I'm just saying that's the kind of guy. The only reason Tyler Warren isn't going to be a top 10 or top 5 pick is because of the position he plays, because the tight end is not valued as high as some other positions. But 3 years down the road, whoever ends up with Tyler Warren, you're going to be like, holy crap, that was a great draft pick. And if you draft Kelvin Banks and he's just like a Mike McGlinchey, and then Tyler Warren goes at 15 to, I think that's the Colts, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, holy crap, I'd rather have Tyler Warren than Kelvin Banks. That's just how it goes. Or if like a Mason Graham drops to you, yeah, like he's going to be really good. Has like all pro written all over him. Abdul Carter's not getting out of the top 3 picks, but if Abdul Carter for some reason, if there's some crazy gas mask video of him smoking weed, like what happened to what's his face? I can't even remember now. I'm getting so riled up. Whatever. You guys know who I'm talking about. And he drops to you somehow. Yeah, you feel like he's a generational guy. You have to get that guy regardless of position. That's why even like Ashton Jeanty, he would be 3rd or 4th on that. I would take him after Tyler Warren, but like he feels like a guy who could just be an ultimate game changer. And you don't know what Christian McCaffrey is going to be in a year or two. And in 2 years, you might be like, holy crap, I'm really glad we took Ashton Jeanty. Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. I think in the later rounds is when you start addressing like, okay, we have these needs. Okay, 2nd round, 3rd round, okay, we really need a tackle. Gray Zabel. First off, I think Gray Zabel is going at the end of the 1st round. But if Gray Zabel falls to you at 43, the tackle out of North Dakota State, like, I will personally run to the podium. Like, he's going to be great. And you got him in the 2nd round. Like, that would be incredible. Anyway, I rambled a bunch in this video. I apologize. But I don't. Hopefully I was like clear enough. Like, the 11th pick is super valuable. But you have to hit on it, or you have to trade it for a game changer, or the last part is you've got to trade back and just get more picks. I think this draft most people feel like is not the greatest in the first round. So for those of you who don't know, I'll go into this real quick. For those of you who don't know, like if you're a more casual football fan, great, thank you. Welcome to the channel. Stay tuned, like subscribe. I'll help you learn more about the game. Like there are 32 first round picks, but there are not 32 ever. In any draft, there's never 32 players worth a first round pick. That's something GMs do and scouting departments do every year is they grade. They give players a grade. What round should this guy go in? And every year, there's anywhere from 10 to 20 guys in the draft that are truly worth a first round pick. Okay? And 20 is like on the higher side. And this year, what I've heard is a lot of people are like, man, it's closer to like 10. It's closer to like 10 guys are actually first round picks. And so, but there's a lot of value in the second and third round picks. You have a lot of defensive linemen and a lot of offensive linemen that should go and are good value in like the second and third rounds. You got to look at them as like assets. And so you don't want to overpay. So if you feel like at 11, if you had 10 guys that were first round picks and shoot 9 of them went in the first 11 picks or 10 picks and you were just like, gosh, why don't we just trade back to pick 20? Okay, maybe the Broncos, Shaq Nums is like desperate. Okay, Shaq Nums is my boy. He's a big Bronco fan. They're picking at 20. He really wants Tyler Warren. So if the Broncos call you and they say, hey, we will give you pick 20 and we'll give you our second round pick, and you don't feel great about any of them and you've decided you're not going to take Tyler Warren, like great, trade back. You still have pick 20, better value, and you pick up an extra second round pick. That's amazing. Like that would be a trade that I would feel really good about if you don't feel good about any of the tackles at 11 or whatever. You have to accumulate these picks, though, if you're not going to get a game changer. Now, getting a game changer, as I've said, is a lot easier said than done. We thought we were getting a game changer with Solomon Thomas, with Mike McGlinchey, with Javon Kinlaw, and they all were terrible. Okay? I don't want to be too harsh on Mike McGlinchey because I think he was a good run blocker, but you get my point. So I don't want all this pushback about Myles Garrett. Myles freaking Garrett. Yeah, in theory, like you'll get a game changer this year in the draft and a game changer next year in the draft. Statistically, it's not likely. Statistically, you're not going to. So get a guy who's he's a future Hall of Famer, like the reigning defensive player of the year. And he's got 3 to 5 years of elite production left. Pair him with Nick Bosa. And people are like scoffing at that. Guys, the 49ers have not been good in the first round, so what do you care? What do you care? Just give up a couple first-round picks for Myles Garrett. It is an absolute no-brainer. Now, if your argument is Seth Floyd, what about the contract? How do we fit all this in? Then that's a different debate and a much more intelligent debate, in my opinion, because that is the bigger worry than the draft picks that everyone overvalues. Okay, I know I'm contradicting myself because I'm talking about how valuable it is, but it's only valuable if you hit on the right player. And statistically, it's going to be difficult to hit on the right player. So if I can get a sure thing like Myles Garrett, then great. If I'm going to stay at 11, then please do not just try to fill a need. Please just take the best player on the board, even if it's not an immediate need in 2025. Very well could be a need in 2026 or 2027. I got pretty fired up in this video, guys. It's all fun and games. Nothing is personal. Though some of you love to make it personal. I've realized that as I've tried to make YouTube content. They go right for the jugular. It's crazy. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right. Got to get a game changer. At the end of the day, 11 has to result in a game changer or in more picks. So that's why I don't want them to just take the best tackle on the board at 11 because I don't think there's any franchise tackles at pick 11. I could be wrong. We'll see. Thank you so much, guys. Again, thank you so much for being here. 282 subscribers is awesome from where we started, which was nothing over summer. And we're already here and we're increasing. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video. Again, thank you. You guys are incredible. And I got more content coming for you. Stay tuned. Please come back. Go Niners.